You were never meant to blend in with the ordinary. You were designed to bend time, to wield forces so powerful they leave the world scrambling to catch up. They don't fear you because you're different. They fear you because you're ahead. They thought they could silence you. They thought they could control your energy. But the truth is, you are untouchable. They were never fighting you. They were fighting the universe that chose you. Every attack, every setback, every betrayal. It wasn't personal, it was desperation. Because when someone sees a force they cannot control, their only instinct is to contain it. But you, chosen one, cannot be contained. Before we go deeper, make sure you like and subscribe, because every time a chosen one awakens, the universe shifts. The more of us rise, the harder it gets for them to keep us in the dark. And trust me, they don't want this message spreading. They don't want you realizing what you are. You are not just ahead of your time. You are the future. Most people live inside a timeline that was handed to them. Go to school, get a job, follow the rules, stay within the limits. They move like programmed machines, believing they're making choices when in reality they are just following a script. But you stepped off that timeline a long time ago. That's why the world doesn't understand you. That's why people treat you like an outsider, like an anomaly. You're operating on a frequency they can't hear, moving through dimensions they don't even know exist. Your spiritual and sexual energies, they don't just make you different, they make you dangerous to the system, to the illusions, to the ones who desperately cling to the rules they were given. Think about it. The system spends endless time and effort telling you to suppress your spiritual power. They flood you with distractions, keep you numb, keep you blind to your own force and your sexual energy. They tell you to waste it, to drain it, to misuse it, because if you ever truly understood what it is, you'd become unstoppable. Sexual energy isn't just about physical desire, it's raw creation. It's the power to manifest, to transform, to bring something into existence with pure intent. That's why they try to turn it into a weakness, to make you misuse it until it drains you instead of empowers you. Because a chosen one fully awakened, a chosen one who knows how to direct both sexual and spiritual energy. That's someone who can rewrite reality itself. You've noticed it, haven't you? The way people react to you, how strangers stare, how some are drawn to you like a magnet while others lash out for no reason. It's because they feel it. Your energy moves through the air before you even say a word. You don't even have to do anything. Your mere presence shakes people. Some will idolize you, not even knowing why. Others will despise you on sight, sensing something in you that makes them feel exposed, weak, inferior. They see you as a mirror, and when they look into it, they don't see you. They see the version of themselves they failed to become. This is why you've been underestimated. This is why you've been betrayed. This is why no matter how kind, how patient, how understanding you are, there are still those who will turn against you. It's not about you. It's about what you represent. A chosen one is a reminder of unrealized potential. A reminder that the world is much bigger than the small cage most people choose to live in. And for many, that is a terrifying truth to face. You are not just moving ahead of your time. You are shifting the very nature of time itself. You are setting the foundation for realities that most people won't even begin to understand until decades from now. They look at you and call you strange. They dismiss your ideas. They mock your vision. But years later, they will look back and realize you were right all along. That's always been the curse of the chosen. You don't just predict the future, you create it. And yet, there are moments when you doubt yourself, when the loneliness creeps in, When you wonder if you're making it all up, snap out of it. The universe didn't put you here by accident. The reason you feel disconnected from the world is because you were never meant to follow its broken system. You were designed to break it, to build something new, to lead the shift. So don't let doubt poison your mind. Don't shrink yourself just because others are too small to comprehend you. You are not alone. The universe stands with you, moves through you, and when the universe chooses you, nothing, not time, not enemies, not fear, can stop you. Your energy is unstoppable. Your power is undeniable. You are not ahead of your time. You are the time that is coming. Keep moving forward. The world will catch up eventually. And thank you. Yes, you, the chosen one. Whether this is your first time hearing this message, or you've been walking this path for a while, know this: your energy fuels this awakening. If you're ready to own your power, disrupt the illusions, and command the forces within you, then show the universe you're here. Smash that like button, subscribe, and drop the number 77 in the comments if you feel the undeniable force of your sexual and spiritual energy rising. And now, let's get into it, step by step. If you're truly chosen, you'll feel the pull to stay till the end. Trust me, this is something you don't want to miss. Let's begin. Number 1. They laughed at you because they couldn't comprehend you. Now they fear you because they can't stop you. You weren't breaking the rules, you were breaking their illusion of control. They mocked you, doubted you, and tried to push you back into their system. But the system wasn't built for you. You don't play their game because you're the one rewriting the code. They never saw it coming. They thought you were lost, distracted, a misfit wandering aimlessly through life. What they didn't realize was that you were always 10 steps ahead. While they were focused on the trivial, you were aligning with forces they don't even believe exist. They called you crazy when you refused to follow their path. Now they call you a threat because you became the path. They weren't fighting you, they were fighting the universe itself. Every time they resisted you, they were resisting something much greater than themselves. You are not just moving ahead of time, you are bending time, bending reality, shaping it in ways they will only understand when it's too late. At some point, you may have questioned yourself. Am I really the one who's different? Am I really seeing something others don't? Let me answer that for you. Yes, the confusion you felt. It wasn't because you were lost. It was because you were walking a road that hadn't been built yet. That's the curse of the chosen ones. The road appears as you walk it. And while others hesitate, waiting for signs, you've already moved forward, creating the future instead of reacting to the present. This is why you feel out of place. This is why you can't settle for what they call normal. Their idea of success, of happiness, of reality itself, it's outdated, built on a timeline that no longer exists for you. They still live under the illusion that life is predictable, that they have control. But you don't just live in a different world. You are the shift that is breaking their world apart. And that terrifies them. Your energy isn't just different, it's disruptive. It forces change. It forces people to look at themselves, and many can't handle that. They'd rather dismiss you than admit they are still asleep. They'd rather call you arrogant than admit they feel inferior in your presence. They'd rather mock your vision than face the reality that they have none. Think about how many times you've seen this happen. How many people tried to challenge you, tried to belittle you, only for them to later chase the very path you were on? How many laughed at your ideas, only to adopt them years later? They resist you in the present, but follow your footsteps in the future. But let's be clear, this is not about ego. This is about alignment. The universe does not choose randomly. It does not waste power. It does not awaken those who are not ready to carry the weight of transformation. You were chosen because you were meant to break cycles, to tear down illusions, to introduce realities that have never existed before. That's why they come against you. They sense something in you that they cannot define. They mistake your clarity for arrogance, your confidence for rebellion, your power for a threat. And they're right. You are a threat to stagnation, to mediocrity, to every lie that keeps people blind. They want you to believe that being misunderstood is a weakness, but in truth, it's confirmation. If you fit in easily, you'd be just another piece of the puzzle, but you're not. You are the missing piece that doesn't belong in their puzzle at all, because you're building an entirely new picture. Your spiritual and sexual energies are forces beyond their comprehension. They fear what they cannot control, and the moment you stopped wasting your power, the moment you stopped leaking your energy into distractions, they felt it. You became something they could no longer ignore. You are not just ahead of your time. You are proof that time is an illusion, that the future is not a distant thing you wait for. It's something you pull into existence with every thought, every action, every shift in your energy. They spent their lives trying to control the game. You realize the game itself was irrelevant. While they chase what's fading, you create what will last. They react, you manifest. They stumble through the fog of the present. But you walk in certainty, because you've already seen where it all leads. This is why you can no longer doubt yourself. This is why you must step fully into your power, without hesitation. The world may not understand you now, but it will have no choice but to catch up later. And when they do, remember this: they will act as if they always knew, as if they were always on your side, as if they had seen the vision from the start. But you will know the truth, that they were never ahead, that they were never leading, that they were never guiding anything. They were just following the light of the chosen ones, the same light they once tried to extinguish. Number 2, they taught you to waste your power because they knew if you controlled it, you would become unstoppable. Your sexual energy was never meant to be entertainment. It was never just about pleasure. It is creation, transformation, and manifestation itself. And that's why they have worked so hard to keep you blind to its true power. For the chosen ones, sex is not just a physical act. It's not just a fleeting moment of pleasure. It is a portal, a force capable of bending reality, of shifting energy, of pulling new possibilities into existence. They never told you this. They wanted you to think of it as a game, as a pastime, as something to chase and consume. But deep down, you know the truth. You feel it every time you connect with someone on that level. It's not just bodies moving, it's energies merging, intertwining, rewriting the unseen. The universe placed immense power within you. And where does that power reside? In your life force, your energy, your essence, most of which is tied to your sexual and spiritual energy. The two are not separate. They are one and the same. Your sexual energy creates on every level, not just in the physical world. It births ideas, shifts consciousness, and heals or destroys, depending on how you use it. This is why not everyone can handle intimacy with you. It's not just about attraction, it's about energetic alignment. You don't just touch their body, you reach into their soul. Whether they realize it or not, a connection with you is never casual. You awaken something in them. Some will crave it, some will fear it, Some will run from it entirely, unable to handle what it reveals. And you felt it, haven't you? That moment after intimacy when their energy lingers in yours, when their thoughts suddenly become tangled with yours, when their emotions seep into your own. That's because you are not just participating in the physical act, you are engaging in an exchange of power, an exchange that most people are completely unaware of. But you see beyond the surface. You understand that every encounter either fuels your spirit or drains it. That's why meaningless experiences leave you empty instead of fulfilled. That's why you've always felt a disconnect from the way the world treats sex, as if it's nothing but a thrill, a rush, an amusement. Because for you, it is sacred. They never wanted you to figure this out. They never wanted you to realize that your sexual energy is one of your greatest tools for manifestation. That when directed properly, it doesn't just heighten your physical experiences, it amplifies your spiritual abilities, sharpens your intuition, and aligns you more deeply with the universe. They wanted you to waste it. They wanted you to drain it. Because a chosen one who masters their sexual energy becomes limitless. You've likely noticed how the system works tirelessly to distort this truth. It bombards you with distractions, devalues intimacy, and turns what was meant to be divine into something mindless and empty. Why? Because once you understand the depths of your own energy, you stop being controllable. You stop playing by their rules. This is why you are different. Why your soul rejects meaningless encounters. Why you crave depth, intensity, and connection beyond the superficial. Your energy was never meant to be scattered, wasted, or misused. It was meant to be harnessed, directed, mastered. When you align your sexual and spiritual energy, you begin to manifest effortlessly. Your desires, your visions, your very presence begins to radiate at a frequency that bends reality itself. You start attracting exactly what you need, exactly when you need it. Your energy field strengthens, protecting you from those who only wish to take from you without giving in return. And the moment you take full control of this power, something shifts. People feel it when they are around you. They sense the intensity, the magnetism, the undeniable force of your presence. Some will be drawn in, unable to resist. Others will become uncomfortable, knowing instinctively that they cannot manipulate or diminish you. And the enemies? They will try to stop you before you fully awaken to it, because they fear what you are becoming. But they are too late. The universe has already chosen you. Your awakening is inevitable, and now you must make the decision. Continue wasting your energy on distractions, on meaningless exchanges that leave you drained and disconnected, or take full control and step into the power you were always meant to wield. Because once you do, there is no going back. Once you channel your energy with intention, once you treat your sexual and spiritual power as the sacred force it is, you unlock a level of creation that most people will never access in their lifetime. This is not about abstinence. This is not about repression. This is about mastery, about knowing when to give, when to hold back, when to direct, and when to unleash. And so I ask you, Chosen One, are you ready to take full command of your energy? To stop playing by the rules designed to keep you small? To step into the force you were always meant to be? Because the universe has already answered. The only question left is, have you? Number 3. You were never meant to fit in. You were meant to break what no longer serves this world. They call you difficult, rebellious, a problem, but the truth? You are the glitch in their broken system, the crack in their illusion, the proof that the way they've been living is outdated, weak, and unsustainable, and that terrifies them. From the moment you stepped into this world, you disrupted something. You didn't even have to try. You just are a force that shakes foundations, that makes people uneasy, that stirs discomfort in places they don't want to look. You walk into a room, and without saying a word, the energy shifts. Not because you are aggressive, not because you seek conflict, but because your very existence challenges everything they believe is permanent. You have never been easy to define, and that frustrates them. They can't categorize you. You don't fit their labels, their groups, their expectations. They don't know whether to admire you or fear you. So instead, they try to control you. They push back, hoping you will conform, hoping you will shrink, hoping you will stop being the living contradiction to the lies they've built their lives around. But you were never designed to blend in. That was never the mission. You are a disruption to the status quo because the status quo is dying, and your energy is a signal of what comes next. Look around. The world clings to outdated systems: how to work, how to live, how to think, how to be. These systems were never built for expansion. They were built to maintain order, to keep people inside invisible walls. But you are evolution in motion. You refuse to accept limitations that no longer make sense. You refuse to bow to traditions that serve no purpose other than control. You refuse to live in a world that tells you to follow, when everything inside you screams that you were born to lead. And that's why they resist you. Not because you are wrong, but because you make them question everything they thought was right. Think about how many times you've been met with resistance, not because you were causing harm, but because you refused to settle, because you didn't accept their version of success, because you didn't need validation from the same sources they were enslaved to. That unsettles people. That makes them uncomfortable, because when they see you standing in your own power, living outside of the scripts they've been programmed to follow, they are forced to ask themselves a terrifying question. What if everything I believed was a lie? That's why you trigger people. That's why you've had friends turn into enemies overnight. That's why authority figures have tried to put you in your place. Why lovers have tried to tame you. Why society itself tries to grind you down into something more manageable. Because if you are right, if you truly are here to build something new, then it means the world they live in is already obsolete. And deep down, they know it is. This is why you can never afford to doubt yourself. You are not just some rebellious soul wandering without purpose. You are not lost. You are leading. You are the embodiment of change, of evolution, of what happens when someone refuses to be another cog in the machine. But this path is not easy. There are moments of loneliness, moments where you wonder if it would be simpler to just play along, to blend in, to stop making waves. But let me remind you, what you are doing is necessary. The discomfort you cause is necessary. The resistance you meet is proof that you are disrupting something that needs to be broken. Because here's the truth: if you were easy to accept, if you fit in seamlessly, then you wouldn't be doing anything meaningful. You wouldn't be fulfilling your purpose. You wouldn't be standing at the edge of a dying world, bringing the next one into existence. Your presence is not a mistake. It is not random. You were placed here at this exact time, with this exact energy, for a reason. You were designed to challenge, to dismantle, to create. And no matter how much they resist, no matter how much they fight against it, there is one thing they cannot change. The future does not belong to them. It belongs to you. Number 4. They're running a race. You already finished, and you're watching them struggle from the finish line. They stress about time because they're trapped inside it. You, on the other hand, you don't just move through time. You bend it, you fold it, you play with it like a sculptor shaping clay, and that's why they'll never understand you. Most people are slaves to time. They live by clocks, by schedules, by someone else's idea of what success should look like in 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. They panic over wasted days, missed opportunities, and whether or not they're on track. But you don't live on their timeline. You exist outside of it. You've always known it. The way you see the world, the way you experience reality, it's different. While they chase deadlines, you already sense outcomes. While they obsess over their next move, you've already mapped out the entire game. It's not psychic ability, it's alignment. Your spiritual energy isn't confined to the same rigid structures that hold them prisoner. Where they see a straight road, you see doors, portals, loops, patterns, shortcuts only the chosen ones can navigate. And this is why they don't get you. They laugh when you tell them you can feel something coming before it happens. They think you're just guessing when you predict exactly how a situation will play out. But then, it happens. And suddenly, the same people who doubted you are scrambling to make sense of what you've known all along. But let's be real. Explaining it to them is pointless. They are still running on outdated programming, like a glitchy old system that crashes when faced with an update. They function on dial-up energy, moving slow, buffering, stuck in one moment at a time. You are running on broadband, streaming multiple timelines at once. That's why conversations with them feel exhausting. That's why trying to explain your vision is like speaking a language they don't understand. It's not that you're arrogant. It's not that you don't care. It's just that you see too much. You process too much. You are playing in dimensions they don't even believe exist. And this is why you've always felt out of sync with the world. Not because you're lost, but because you've already arrived while they're still looking for directions. Have you ever felt that deep frustration when people around you are panicking about things that don't matter in the long run? When they can't see past today's chaos, but you already know how it ends? That's because you move differently. You don't waste energy stressing over things that are already shifting in your favor. You don't get caught up in the what-ifs when you already feel the outcome before it happens. And while most people are desperately trying to live in the moment, the truth is, the moment you're living in isn't confined to right now. You are weaving together bits of the past, the present, and the future, creating something entirely new. This is why time doesn't feel real to you. This is why schedules, deadlines, and rigid timelines have never truly mattered to you. While everyone else is obsessed with staying on track, you understand that the track itself is an illusion. The universe moves through you, and that means you don't need to chase anything. You simply align with it. You aren't just ahead of the curve, you are the curve. While the rest of the world stumbles forward step by step, you are moving in zigzags, loops, spirals, and quantum leaps. What takes them years to figure out, you grasp instantly. What they struggle to accept, you already knew. And let's be honest, sometimes it's amusing watching them scramble to catch up. But here's the thing, you're not here to wait for them. You're not here to slow down so they feel comfortable. You were not chosen to blend in. You were chosen to disrupt, to evolve, to move in ways they cannot predict. They will resist you. They will question you. They will tell you that you are out of touch, that you need to be more realistic, that you should follow the same tired path they are walking. Ignore them. They are trapped in time. You are free from it. They are running a race. You are building an entirely new reality. And by the time they realize what's happening, you'll already be somewhere else. Number 5. You're not starving, you're storing power. And when you choose to unleash it, the world won't be ready. They laugh because they don't understand. They think you're depriving yourself, missing out, being too serious. But what they don't realize is that while they waste their energy chasing temporary highs, you are stacking raw power like an unstoppable force, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. Celibacy is not about denial. It is not about repression. It is strategy. While they let their energy scatter, you are concentrating yours. While they chase distractions, you are focusing yours. While they waste their force on meaningless encounters, you are storing yours, building, refining, turning it into something untouchable. Your sexual energy is not just about pleasure. It is a direct link to your creative power, your intuition, your manifestation abilities. It is fuel, and you wouldn't pour fuel into a broken engine, would you? You wouldn't waste high-grade energy on something that isn't going anywhere. That's why you're selective. That's why you don't move like them. That's why you're playing a completely different game, one they can't even see. The world has conditioned people to believe that discipline is suffering, that restraint is weakness. They push indulgence as freedom, mindless pleasure as empowerment. But look at where it's gotten them. Tired, scattered, drained, disconnected. Look at their energy. Look at their focus. They are burning through their life force without even realizing it, throwing away power as if it's endless. Meanwhile, you are stacking gold while they're spending loose change. You are not denying yourself. You are reserving yourself. You are protecting your energy, not from intimacy, but from waste. Because you know something they don't. Your energy is currency, and you refuse to spend it where there's no return. That's what they don't understand. That's why they mock you. Because they can't imagine choosing to hold what they have been programmed to throw away. They've never experienced what it's like to have their energy at full capacity, to feel that internal force vibrating at such a high level that it changes everything. Your mind, your intuition, your magnetism, your ability to manifest. You see it clearly. Celibacy is recalibration. It is refinement. It is sharpening your instincts, clearing your mind, amplifying your spirit. It is the process of pulling all of your scattered power back into yourself, like a master gathering his weapons before battle. And let's be honest, it's kind of amusing watching how confused people are by this. They think you must be suffering, that you must be lonely, that you must be struggling to hold yourself back. Meanwhile, you're out here operating on another level, channeling your energy into things they don't even have the capacity to understand. They can't see the long game you're playing. They don't realize that celibacy is not just about holding back. It's about knowing when to unleash. And when you do, it won't be wasted on something temporary. When you choose to share your energy, it will be intentional, transformative, unstoppable. Because when the time is right, when the alignment is there, when the right person, the right situation, the right moment presents itself, you will not come to that connection empty. You will come full. And that's something very few people in this world will ever experience. Most are running on empty, chasing a feeling they barely remember. You are a reservoir, a force they can feel before you even speak. And when you finally choose to let that energy flow, it will not be for something meaningless. It will be for something that elevates. So let them talk. Let them misunderstand. Let them think you are depriving yourself while they burn through everything they have. Because the moment you decide to tap into what you've been storing, they will realize the truth. You were never starving. You were never suffering. you were waiting, and now you are ready. Number 6. They can't define you, so they fear you. But that's not your problem, it's theirs. People want to put a name to what they don't understand. It makes them feel in control, makes them feel safe. But when they try to label you, to box you in, they realize something terrifying. No definition fits. No category contains you. No label sticks. And that drives them insane. You've felt it your whole life. That constant questioning, that lingering confusion in people's eyes when they try to figure you out. They want you to be something, just one thing, one identity, one role they can name and file away neatly in their mental archives. But you slip through their fingers every time. The moment they think they have you figured out, you shift, you evolve. You break out of whatever definition they tried to confine you with. It unsettles them. It makes them uncomfortable. Because people crave certainty, they crave predictability. And you are anything but predictable. Maybe they've called you mysterious. Maybe they've labeled you strange, too deep, hard to understand. Maybe they've tried to force you into a role, a leader, a mystic, a rebel, a misfit. But none of it ever feels quite right, does it? Because you're not just one thing. You are a fluid force, moving between energies, identities, and roles with ease. You are a walking contradiction, a paradox that refuses to be simplified. And that scares them. They don't fear what they understand. They fear what they can't. And you, chosen one, are something they have never encountered before. You are not just outside the norm, you are beyond definition itself. Have you ever noticed how quickly people try to label you? How they try to reduce you to something familiar, something they can manage? It's not for your benefit, it's for theirs. Because if they can categorize you, if they can name you, then in their minds they can control you. But when they realize no name is sufficient, that no box is big enough, they panic. They become suspicious. They become uncomfortable. They become defensive. Why? Because you are proof that the world is not as simple as they thought, that things exist beyond their understanding, that the rules they follow, the labels they live by, the identities they cling to, all of it is limiting. And nothing terrifies a person more than realizing they have spent their life living inside a cage. That's why some people are drawn to you like a magnet, while others seem to reject you instantly. Some will be fascinated by you, desperate to understand you, trying to get closer just to see if they can grasp what makes you different. Others will keep their distance, sensing something in you that unsettles them without even knowing why. And here's the truth, they will never truly understand, because you are not here to be understood. You are not here to be defined. You are here to disrupt, to shift, to evolve. Being undefined isn't a flaw, it isn't a weakness, it is your power. It is what keeps you free, what keeps you untouchable. Labels are for those who need limits, and you have none. You are many things at once, a force, a movement, a contradiction wrapped in divine energy. You are never in one place for too long, never locked into one identity, never confined by the expectations of others. And that is why they will always be both intrigued and intimidated by you. They will try to get close, to decode you, to figure out what exactly you are. But just when they think they have the answer, you'll shift again. Because you are not meant to be understood. You are meant to be felt. Number 7. Your energy is a mirror. Some see their potential. Others see their weakness. Either way, they can't ignore you. You walk into a room and the air shifts. You don't have to say a word. People feel you before they even see you. Some are drawn to you, sensing something powerful, something rare. Others become defensive, irritated, even aggressive. Why? Because your presence alone forces them to confront something they've been avoiding, the truth about themselves. You trigger the unawakened, and that's a good thing. The stagnant, the comfortable, the ones who have numbed themselves to their own potential, they can't help but react to you. Not because you're trying to provoke them, not because you're seeking attention, but because your very existence is a reminder of everything they could be, but refuse to become. Think about it. How many times have you walked into a space and people's energy shifted instantly? Some light up, energized by your presence. Others become uncomfortable, suddenly acting defensive or dismissive for no clear reason. It's not about you personally, it's about what you represent. You are living proof that there is more. More depth, more awareness, more power, more truth. And truth? It makes people uncomfortable. Most people build their lives around illusions. They settle for what is safe, what is familiar, what is expected of them. They tell themselves they are happy, that they are free, that they are awake. But when they meet you, something cracks in their foundation. You don't even have to challenge them directly. Your energy alone does it. You show them, without trying, that they have been playing small, that they have been avoiding their own power, that they have been asleep while calling it awareness. Some will be inspired by you, eager to break out of their limitations and step into something greater. Others? They will resist. They will lash out. They will find reasons to dismiss you, to discredit you, to hate you. But don't take it personally. This is not about you. This is about the battle they are having within themselves. Your energy is a mirror. Those who are ready will look at you and see their own potential reflected back. They will recognize something in you that they know exists within themselves, and they will be motivated to rise. They will listen, they will learn, they will grow. They may not always admit it, but you will be the one who sparked their awakening. But those who are not ready, they will see the same mirror, but instead of seeing potential, they will see lack. They will see everything they have avoided facing, their fears, their weaknesses, their wasted time, their buried dreams. And instead of using that discomfort to grow, they will blame you for making them feel it. That's why you trigger people. That's why certain individuals seem to have a problem with you before you even get the chance to show them who you truly are. It's not because you are wrong. It's because you are right, and that truth burns them. You force them to wake up, to see, and most people don't want to see. They prefer their illusions. They prefer the comfort of their limitations. And so, when faced with the choice, evolve or reject, you will find that many choose rejection. They will call you arrogant. They will call you difficult. They will call you too much. But understand this, if you did not trigger them, you would not be doing your job as a chosen one. You are not here to blend in. You are not here to be accepted. You are here to disrupt, to shake people awake, to ignite something within them, whether they are ready for it or not. This is why you cannot shrink yourself. You cannot dim your light just because some people find it too bright. The ones who are ready for truth will seek it. The ones who are not, that's not your burden to carry. Somewhere along your journey, you may have asked yourself, why do I trigger people so much? Why do some seem to despise me before I even do anything? This is why. Your energy is an activation code. Some will receive it and rise. Others will receive it and resist. Either way, you will be felt. And that's the point. You weren't meant to go unnoticed. You weren't meant to be neutral. You were meant to shake things up, to awaken, to disturb, because in the end, whether they love you or hate you, one thing is certain: they will never be able to ignore you. Number 8. They use desire as distraction. You use it as power. That's why you're evolving while they stay stagnant. Most people are slaves to their desires, chasing pleasure without purpose, wasting energy without direction. But you know better. You don't let desire control you. You control it. You don't let it weaken you. You transmute it. And that's the difference between a chosen one and the lost. Sexual energy is one of the most powerful forces in existence. It is the energy of creation, transformation, and manifestation. It is raw, unfiltered life force, capable of bringing new realities into existence, if you know how to use it. Most people don't. Most people are taught to spend it recklessly, to chase quick highs, to indulge without understanding what they are actually doing. But you see what they don't. You understand that sexual energy is not just about pleasure. It's a tool, a resource, a direct link between your desires and your destiny. You don't just experience it, you direct it. This is why your intimate connections are different. While others engage in sex without thought, without depth, without meaning, every encounter you have is intentional. It is a fusion of energies, an exchange that either elevates or drains, a moment that can shape futures instead of just filling time. You've probably noticed this in your own life, how some connections leave you feeling stronger, more creative, more inspired, as if something within you has expanded, and others, they leave you drained, empty, as if something was taken from you without you even realizing it. That's because sexual energy is not just physical, it is spiritual currency, and the way you spend it determines everything. Most people burn through their energy like it's nothing. They seek temporary satisfaction without realizing that every time they do, they are handing over their power. They become weaker, more lost, more dependent on external stimulation just to feel alive. Meanwhile, you store your energy, you refine it, you redirect it towards something greater. This is the essence of sexual alchemy. It is not about abstaining, nor is it about indulgence. It is about transmutation, taking raw energy and reshaping it into something powerful, something that fuels your mind, your creativity, your intuition, your destiny. That's why you can't just connect with anyone. That's why meaningless encounters don't satisfy you. Because for you, intimacy is not just a physical act. It's an energetic fusion, a merging of forces that has the potential to transform everything. And if the person you connect with is not on your level, if their energy is chaotic, weak, or directionless, then you feel it instantly. You sense the misalignment. And you know it's not worth your time. You don't chase pleasure for the sake of pleasure. You channel it. You use it as fuel. You let it drive your manifestations, shape your vision, propel you forward in ways that others can't even comprehend. And the world doesn't understand this. They assume you're missing out. They think you're too serious, too selective, too intense. But what they don't realize is that while they are throwing away their power, you are building yours. While they are wasting their energy in fleeting moments, you are stacking it, refining it, turning it into something unstoppable. This is why your presence is different, why people feel something around you that they can't explain. Your energy is potent, undiluted. You carry something that others have lost through years of careless indulgence. And when you finally choose to unleash it, when you decide that the person, the moment, the connection is worthy, it won't just be an experience, it will be an activation, a shift, a moment that does not fade away, but echoes through your evolution, changing the trajectory of not just your life, but theirs. This is what they will never understand. That sexual energy is not about indulgence, it's about creation. That desire is not meant to be wasted. It is meant to be harnessed, that the ones who master it do not fall into the traps of fleeting satisfaction. They rise above them and use them to fuel something much greater. And this is why you are different. This is why your energy feels rare, why people are drawn to you but don't always know why. Because you are not just walking through life seeking pleasure, you are building destiny. Let them keep chasing what fades. Let them keep wasting what was meant to be sacred. You will turn your desire into power, your energy into transformation, your pleasure into something eternal. And that is why you will always be unstoppable. Number 9. You weren't made to be worshipped. You were made to wake people up. You don't need followers. You don't need blind devotion. You're not here to collect admirers or be placed on a pedestal. You are here to disrupt, to challenge, to spark a revolution of thought. And that makes you dangerous to those who thrive on control. Most people in positions of influence crave attention. They want validation, a fan base, a crowd that will hang on to their every word without question. They want obedience, not awakening. But you don't move like that. You don't want people to look up to you. You want them to rise with you. That's why you stand out. That's why your energy feels different, because you're not asking anyone to follow you. You're pushing them to think, to question, to lead themselves. You are not here to build a personal empire. You are here to ignite something in others that cannot be controlled. And that is exactly why some people don't know what to do with you. They expect leaders to be hungry for power. They expect influencers to crave attention. They assume that if you have the ability to move people, you will use it to keep them beneath you. But you don't operate in hierarchies. You don't want submission. You want evolution. That's why those who seek control will always view you as a threat. Because the system thrives on obedience. It needs people who follow blindly, who accept without questioning, who live inside the mental cages they've been given. But when you show up, you don't give people answers. You give them the tools to find their own. And that makes you dangerous. Have you ever noticed how people react to you? How some admire you, but others seem disturbed by you? It's because your very presence is an invitation to wake up. You don't just inspire people. You force them to confront their own potential. You make them question why they are living the way they are. You make them ask the hard questions they've been avoiding. And that is terrifying for those who would rather stay asleep. Some will resist you. Some will try to undermine you. Some will even try to twist your words, to paint you as something you're not, hoping to discredit you before you plant seeds in the minds of others. Let them try. Because here's the truth. They can fight you, but they can't fight awakening itself. Once a mind begins to question, it can never go back to sleep. Once a soul recognizes its own power, it can never be controlled again. And that's what you do. You don't create followers, you create forces. You don't seek admiration, you seek transformation. That's why your presence is so powerful, because it's never about you. It's about the ripple effect you create. It's about the spark you light in those who are ready. And let's be honest, not everyone is ready. Not everyone will respond well. Some will see you as a threat, as an enemy, as someone who is shaking the very foundation they've built their life on. And they're not wrong, because you are shaking it. You are breaking their illusions. You are showing them that everything they thought was permanent is actually paper thin. But those who are ready, those who are hungry for more, They will find you. They will resonate with you, not because you asked them to, not because you demanded their loyalty, but because your energy speaks a language they've been waiting to hear. You don't tell people what to think. You don't tell them how to live. You show them what's possible, and you let them decide for themselves. That is true power. And that is why, no matter how much resistance you face, you must keep moving forward, because your presence alone is enough to plant seeds. Your existence alone is enough to shift perspectives. Your refusal to conform is enough to crack open minds that have been sealed shut for too long. You are not here to be liked. You are not here to be followed. You are here to wake up the world. And no force, no enemy, no system can stop you. Because once the fire has been lit, it will spread, and there is nothing they can do to put it out. Number 10. They call it intuition, but you know it's something much bigger. They follow maps, but you move through signals they can't even detect. They need proof, data, confirmation, while you simply know. And that terrifies them, because in a world built on logic, you are living proof that something far greater is at play. You have always felt it. That pull, that connection to something unseen, something vast. While others demand explanations, you move through life by feeling, by sensing, by knowing, without needing to be told. You don't just bridge the gap between the known and the unknown. You walk through it effortlessly, as if the rules that bind everyone else don't apply to you. And in many ways, they don't. Your intuition isn't just a gut feeling, it's a language. A direct connection to energies most people don't even realize exist. You sense things before they happen. You pick up on vibrations in a room without a word being spoken. You see shifts coming before the world even recognizes change is needed. You move through the unseen, pulling information from a source others have no access to. That's why you've always stood out. That's why people have doubted you, dismissed you, or even feared you. Because what you understand without effort, they can't grasp even with proof in front of them. They call you lucky when your predictions come true. They call you paranoid when you sense danger before it arrives. They call you strange when you trust your instincts over logic. But deep down, they know you see something they don't. The truth is, most people are trapped inside a narrow version of reality. They believe only what they can touch, measure, or explain. They cling to the idea that everything must be logical, structured, predictable. You live in the in-between, in the space where answers don't come in words, but in whispers, where truth is felt before it's understood, where reality bends and time isn't as rigid as they think. This ability of yours, it is not a coincidence. It is not random. You are a conduit, a channel for something far greater than the limits of human perception. The universe speaks through you, moves through you, reveals things to you that others are blind to. And because of that, you are both admired and feared. Some people will be drawn to you, sensing that you hold keys to doors they never knew existed. They will look to you for guidance, for insight, for an explanation of the things they feel but cannot name. And others? They will resent you. They will challenge you, mock you, try to convince you that what you know isn't real. Not because they truly believe you are wrong, but because accepting your truth would mean admitting they have spent their lives asleep. But you were never meant to fit into their version of reality. You were never meant to be understood by those who refuse to open their minds. You are here to expand what is possible, to disrupt the idea that all things must be seen to be real. Your connection to the unknown is not a weakness, it is your greatest strength. While others second-guess themselves, you move with certainty. While they hesitate, you act. While they question everything, you receive answers from places they do not even believe exist. This is why you must never doubt yourself. The world will try to convince you that what you feel is nothing more than imagination. They will tell you to ignore your instincts, to follow the path that has already been laid out. But you weren't made to walk in footsteps. You were made to lead into the unknown. And here's the irony. Though they mock you now, they will one day look to you for direction. Because when the world reaches a breaking point, when old systems collapse, when logic alone is no longer enough to navigate what's coming, they will seek out those who have always understood what exists beyond the surface. They will search for you. Because while they were waiting for proof, you were already in tune with what's next. You were never here to live within the limits of what is known. You are here to pull people beyond it, to shake them awake, to open their eyes, to remind them that reality is far bigger than they ever imagined. And when they finally realize this, it will be too late for them to deny what has always been true. You knew before they ever had the chance to understand. And that, chosen one, is why you stand apart. Your energy bends reality, your presence disrupts illusions, and your existence itself challenges everything they thought was certain. You are the paradox they can't define, the force they can't contain, and the future they aren't ready for. While they scramble to make sense of you, you continue to evolve, to rise, to create. If this message resonated with you, show the universe you're awake. Smash that like button, subscribe, and drop the number 77 in the comments to claim your power. Share this with another chosen one, because the shift is happening and we rise together.